So today, I'm not sure if you read the topic, but basically we're just going to be um, looking through animes, really just kind of seeing what interesting information we can pull up on them. A lot of what the research I already did went into the short. Not sure if you're here because of that, so if you are, awesome. Appreciate you giving it a view. Give it a like if you can, and let's just get into it. So we know the original anime was uh, got too many notes. Katsudo Shashin. Basically, it was just a small little snippet that was a 4-second clip. It showed a man in a little sailor uniform, and all he did was write the words moving image or moving pictures, and that was the original animation. It consisted of about 49 to 50 frames, so it wasn't very long, and it's almost like 10 frames a second. Must have fucking that time period. It's gotta be so fucking difficult to have been making any sort of animation. So the fact that they even fucking did it was an accomplishment. So I'm not going to discredit them for the ability to make any length of animation. The I guess the next actual storyline or surviving is what they probably more call it, a surviving animation from that time or area is Katana Namura Gatana Namakura Gatana, and that is a it's a 4.5 minute clip, and it just follows this samurai as he's basically testing out the. Ooh, that is loud. That is not the original clip, so not also the original. This is the most restored version that there is of it. And so in the first scene, I think there's already like quite a bit to be told. The dude's looking around, he's acting kind of silly, and he's testing the sharpness of the blade. And so he runs it on there, and he's actually bleeding. So Namakura Gatana means the dull blade. And just the fact that in the first 25 seconds, he cuts his hand on the sword. So it's obviously not a dull sword. Think what it's really trying to say is, you know, you're only as the blade is only as dull as the user. It's almost like saying, like, you know, guns don't kill people, people kill people. And if you're just silly and not, you know, in the right mind, you're probably not likely to have a safe experience with a weapon. So I really don't think the Namakura Gatana, the dull blade, is really talking about the sword itself, but rather the individual that's holding on to the sword. There's like actually no, they haven't been able to restore the sound, so that's likely why they're you know, you can't hear anything. But this dude's got some magical powers, apparently, making these things float and roll around like this. I mean, he's got some tricks up his sleeve. He's mystical. He's just not that bright. real excited about his sword. And he basically just wanders around and he decides, oh, I want to test my sword on someone. Finds what I assume is some kind of blind man just to test out his stuff. And you know, it's kind of like a Tom and Jerry moment. The cat tries to pick on the mouse, and the mouse kind of just fights back in a way. Again, he's like, hey, let me test my blade on you. Silly stuff. It's great that it survived this the time, and it's I think it's so weird. It's worth it. It's worth the watch. It's worth the patience and the fact that they were able to create a concept that withstands time. Like, it's a silly concept and anyone can enjoy it at any age. So it's really really wonderful. So we kind of talked about the oldest. One of the other videos not videos, actual featured film. This was the first featured film, animated film that came out of Japan. It's called Momotaro Sacred Sailors. Momotaro Umi no Shinpai. And it's a story that follows these animals as they're anamorphic, so they stand on 2 feet, they wear human clothes, they're like people animals, and they get drafted into the Japanese Navy, and basically in their stay in the Navy, they dance, they sing, they write, they sing songs, they enjoy themselves, and they also fucking win World War II. I didn't actually watch it, but supposedly they just basically parachute in on a place called Devil's Island. Very original name, and just America just gives up right then and there. They see some freaky shit they've never seen before and can't handle it and give up. Realistically, they probably would have shot the thing they don't understand, especially, you know, back in the 40s. But this anime has a interesting little history, because it was actually commissioned by the Navy. It was commissioned by the Japanese Navy to basically give a sense of hope for the people of Japan, and give them a little boost for the morale of the Navy, so that the Japanese people can, I guess, appreciate them. Not sure how much it helped with the war efforts, considering, but we definitely got an anime out of it. I always like these little AI power things. They make things quite easy. First feature-length anime in Japan, was directed by Mitsuyo Seo, who was ordered by the Japanese Naval Ministry to make a propaganda film for World War II. The film was funded with 270,000 yen from the Ministry of the Navy. 74 minutes long, in black and white, tells the story of young Japanese boys who joined the Navy and fight against Japanese enemies. The film shows animals in the jungle, which symbolize the residents of Asian countries the Japanese conquered. Interesting. I didn't know that. So that's why I always like these little things. Welcome to the Japanese Army Liberation. The film was meant to support the war effort. It was considered lost after World War II, but its negatives were rediscovered in 1982. So it was lost for like 40 years. A little less than 40 years. It was a big influence on Tezuka Osamu, known as the godfather of manga. Let's look this guy up. Yeah, he looks like a manga artist if I've ever seen one. Apollo Song. That looks like, what's his name? Cyborg 009? Serialized weekly shonen. Oh shit. Originally serialized in Weekly Shonen King in Japan, it was published. Story follows a neglected and abused boy who does not have any feelings of love. Well, shit. Just sounds like very depressing manga, honestly. It's got 4 out of, Jesus, fucking $61 for that? It's a book made out of gold. Oh, leaflets of gold on each page. Jesus. Continuing efforts to show Americans more literary outside of the article proudly introduces Apollo Song, the story of Shogo, a troubled man who has no faith in love. When his misanthropy reaches its peak, he is met by the goddess of love, who condemns him to an eternity of heartbreak. It just sounds like a sad fucking book, but I'd love to read it. And give it a check sometime. I'm gonna write that down. Apollo Song. I'll write in my notes page over here. I have several different journals for many different reasons. Apollo Song. And definitely check that out. I like sad shit for some reason, and it just speaks to my soul, I think. Ayako. Manga trilogy. It was serialized in Big Comic. This guy's been around. Most political narratives. Ayako is also considered to be one of his most challenging, as it defines the conventions of his mangas by utilizing a completely original cast and relying solely on historical drama to drive the plot. That sounds cool too. This guy sounds like he's got some interesting work under his sleeve. I'm just gonna write this guy's name down to check him out. Osamu Tezuka. I'm gonna put that in the chat for y'all to check out. Definitely seems like he has a lot of work. Message to Adolf. What the shit? set before, during, and after World War II. English versions as Adolf is a manga series made by, we know that, set before, during, centered on three men with the name Adolf. Adolf Kami is a Ashkenazi Jew living in Japan. Man, this guy's got a weird brain. I mean, like I said when we first fucking saw him, he did look like a manga artist, especially from when? This guy was born in 1928, died in 1989. He was like 71 years old. Or 61? 61. He did Astro Boy? Astro Boy was the first serialized anime in Japan, and I think it was also the first anime to be adapted to English audiences. Okay, we got enough of this guy. This guy seems really interesting. We should definitely check his work out on our own time, though. Let's look at this real quick. What was the first English anime adaptation? The history of anime in the United States began in 1961 when Magic Boy and the Tale of the White Serpent, both produced by Toei Animation, became the first and second anime films to receive documented releases in the country. Anime has since found success with a growing audience in the region, with Astro Boy often something. So, Magic Boy and the Tale... first anime to receive an English dub was Astro Boy. It just said... okay, film. Both were the first films, and Astro Boy was probably the first serialization. Okay. So, let's look up Magic Boy. Magic Boy anime. This looks fun. (1959). An adolescent sorcerer uses magic to save his sister from an evil witch in this animated adventure from Japan. So it's your basic good versus evil trope. It seems like a child-friendly film, maybe. There are a few things that don't transfer over as far as censorship is concerned from Japan to America, so I would say it's a good 50-50 shot of whether it's going to be kid appropriate. See if we can watch a little clip. So it seems very kid friendly. You got the Disney animals sending him off on an adventure, or I guess trying to keep him from going on one. He sneaks out, flies off to save the day, and come back and save his sister. And his little animal friends join him. So that was Magic Boy. It's your very generic good versus evil. Gotta fight the witch, gotta kill the enemy trope. And what was the other one? Oops. The Tale of the White Serpent. It's a film directed by Taji Yabushitsa. It is based on an ancient Chinese folktale. I love folktale. There's so much culture in any folktale story you hear. It's such a great way to know, like, how the people of that specific time period and region were. The story is about a young boy named Zuzan who is forced to free his pet snake. Aw, he has a little pet snake. Snake is actually a young snake goddess named Bai Nang. I'm sorry if that was wrong. Who is in love with Zuzan. The story is also known as the Legend of White Snake. Oh, I've heard of this goddess. I think, yeah, like, it's folktale, but they have like so many different like goddesses and deities. It's unreal. Like, I don't even think they have a full collection to catalog each and every one that there's been. It's a character in Chinese folklore. Snake. She is a snake demon who falls in love with a human and tries to become a goddess. She is also known as Bai Sujin or White Lady. Bai Nang is the main character in film Panda and the Magic Serpent. She is voiced by Lisa Liu in the original version. And okay, but I've definitely, I wouldn't want to say a prominent character, but she's been brought up in other ways in a lot of their folk tales. After 1,000 years. Dates back to the Tang Dynasty in 618 to 907. It's definitely an old tale. So the fact that they've survived that long, through that much time, is a testament to her prominence in their culture. It was a Chinese folklore. So was the original animes brought over from China and not Japan? First foreign animation is known to have been found in Japan in 1910, but it's not clear if the film was ever shown in a cinema or publicly displayed. So it seems that animation comes from China, or not China, Japan. Um, so I'm sure. I'm sure this is probably just adapted from, or I'm sure it was made by China, maybe Chinese animation. We can just look this up. Toy animation. Japanese for animation. So it was a Chinese folklore produced by a Japanese company and adapted for an American audience, it seems. Or at least it was a first adapted animation for American audience, or at least one of them. So that's cool. Critically acclaimed animes. Just go through some of the popular ones. Has two different adaptations. Both are really good. But there is one that, oh man, right there, Paranoia Agent. There was this one anime. I don't know if you're old enough and had been watching Adult Swim at the right time. There was this anime that was showing, or maybe it was Toonami. It was called Paranoia Agent, but it's so hard to find now. Honestly, I've tried looking all over, and it's just one of the most difficult things. Look, it just pops up right there. But man, I just remember watching it when I was really young and being like, what the fuck is going on? An elementary school kid dubbed with the title Shonen Bat or Lil Slugger has been going around attacking people with his bent golden bat. Why is this so hard to find? Why was it banned? What? The award-winning anime series Paranoia Agent. Man, I know it was award-winning. Well, that's good. Glad I wasn't just so fixated on it because I was young and impressionable. Was briefly banned in the United States due to broadcasting restrictions related to unliving yourself. The series was released on Adult Swim, but nudity, strong language, and religious references were censored. A censored and edited version of the series was later released. I don't think censorship is appropriate on any work of art, honestly. Like, I think disclaimer is appropriate, but I don't think censorship should really go into anyone else's work if they didn't put it in there themselves. Like, honestly, if you're gonna be offended by shit, just don't watch the shit. It's that simple. Series was also partially banned in Japan because the government deemed it too harsh. Scenes like the one in episode 8 where a character commits unliving caused the ban. Japan later allowed the series to be released online. Well, check that out. Paranoia Agent. I was, for some reason when I was young, just addicted to trying to catch the right time to watch episodes of this show. Man, I didn't know it was banned though. it must have been pretty graphic for Japan to censor something, honestly. They, oh man, I don't know. They got some weird censorship laws. Japan's animation censorship. Japan's constitution prohibits censorship and protects freedom of speech, press, and all other forms of expression. That's not how I've heard it. However, there is censorship of obscene content, which is justified by Article 175 of the Criminal Code in Japan. Article 175 states that anyone who distributes, sells, or displays obscene content in public may be punished by imprisonment for up to 2 years, a fine of up to 2.5 million yen, or a petty fine. The fuck. Practice of censorship in Japan has a long history that can be traced back to the Edo period, 1600 to 1868. The samurai-led government banned Christian publications, both Western and Japanese. Early in the 17th century, after the surrender of Japan in 1945, the supreme commander of the Allied powers abolished all forms of censorship and controls on freedom of speech. The government respects laws for freedom of speech and of the press. However, there are concerns that the government indirectly encourages self-censorship practices. This is not legal advice. You may want to consult a lawyer about this question. Yes, like it's said in the description, I am not an expert on any of these things we talk about, so do your own research. I'm not perfect. I'm just a guy with Google and a computer. While Article 21 of the guarantees prohibits formal censorship, effective censorship of obscene content. So I guess that scene was just too obscene. I don't know. Did nobody watch it before they aired it? That's where I'm confused at. Did nobody like? It's not like South Park where they got it the day that they're gonna like send it to be aired. It's just, I mean, if they didn't, I'm glad they didn't, because then it wouldn't have been produced. But still, watch something before you decide to broadcast it to your country, and consider the obscenity of it before you publish it, I guess. I don't know. I don't think that was the creator's fault. Japan's banned animes. Now I'm curious to know what kind of animes have been banned. Perfect Blue. The most horrifying animes banned worldwide, including in Japan. This article contains descriptions about disturbing, including... Okay, so I'm just gonna save that for a different time, because I don't think I can show too much on here. I was more looking for like a list Man, what? I guess this is a good list to start with right here. A young Japanese singer is encouraged by her agent to quit singing and pursue an acting career, beginning with a role in a murder mystery TV show. Perfect Blue. Band. Why? Band. Serious violence and death, including reoccurring images of stabbing victims with their eyes gouged out. That's not bad. Compared to things I feel like a lot of anime watchers have seen, that's not bad. Like, I've seen so much worse. Why? I just don't get why. That it's. Hey, you can watch it on Tubi. Wicked City. I don't know what it's about. A peace treaty has been in effect for hundreds of years to prevent a war between Earth and the Black World. Although it's set to be renewed, evil forces want to make sure that doesn't happen. Why? Banned. In several countries, namely United Kingdoms and the United States, due to the nature of the story. The science fiction film was filled with many elements such as horror, violence, guns, and also contained sexual violence on the female lead. I get it, but I feel like we've all seen so much worse than just that. Especially if you're like an anime fan. I feel like you've seen so much worse. If you're a fan of any American gore film. I mean, those are like the main common tropes in anime gore films, honestly. Whenever you see that shit, it's like I don't think any of these really touch him. An adolescent girl develops a unique connection to a virtual reality network known as The Wired. Serial experiments Elaine, Ergo Proxy. I feel like we're just gonna get down some weird rabbit holes. Oh shit, it's on Crunchyroll. If you have Crunchyroll, watch it and let me know if it's as good as I thought it was. Send me a message. Let me know if it's worth checking out again. This one, Perfect Blue. If you want to watch that, AMC, YouTube Prime. I love that these fucking band play like shows are just in these very accessible places. I think a lot of it has to do with like just because something's banned from you having like the physical copy or maybe like seeing it on a public platform like cable is different from streaming something, like clicking through and choosing exactly like I want to watch something fucked up. But this one's on Tubi, The Wicked City, so go ahead and give that a try. Sounds like almost like a high fantasy kind of thing. Standard issue biopunk anime. Huh. Well, we've we've gone through quite a few different things. I really just kind of wanted to get a stream in, so let's try to stick around for a few more minutes. See what else we can. Are there any banned mangas? Banned mangas. Some manga series have been banned in the United States and other countries due to their content. Assassination Classroom has been banned in public schools in Florida and Wisconsin. It's not a kids anime or manga. I will lay that out now. It's not. So it shouldn't have been in anyone's classroom to begin with. It's Assassination Classroom. Tokyo Ghoul was banned in China in 2017 because some believed it encouraged a dangerous trend of teenagers sewing threads into their skin. So body modification, there is actually that form of body modification. I think threading some kind of filament through the underside of your skin. And as long as you do it right, you have like a professional do it, hopefully it's a lot safer. I wouldn't think that's a huge issue either, though. I don't think there's a whole lot of kids that are just sitting there like, all right, gotta sew my arm up. I don't know if you've ever done that thing where you take like a little needle and you like stick it like under the first like layer of skin, and you show it to your friend or whoever's sitting next to you, and you're just like, freak them out a little. But that's what I think of whenever I see that. Death Note was banned in China for its supposed corruptive influence on the country's youth. And psychological horror Parasite was banned in China due to its vicious killings and horrifying scenes. China's just gotta relax a bit. Maybe that's why everyone around there seems a bit like stuck up. They're just a bit too focused on I don't know. They're just a bit too focused on the wrong things, I think. I don't know. Let's Japan's crime rate versus China. In 2021, Japan's crime rate was 0.02, which is a 9.93% decrease from 2020. In China, China's crime rate was around 1.214, which means about 121.38. That 0.38 of a person, poor guy, was involved in a criminal activity. This includes both violent and non-violent crimes. Japan's low crime rate can be attributed to factors such as severe legislation on firearms. Gun ownership was banned in 1965 and penalties are very severe. In 2012, there were only 45 firearm-related crimes, killing 8 people. That's a very small number compared to most places. But it seems like even with China's very strict control on censorship and what's banned and not banned, it doesn't seem like it's doing much. So I think they should really not care so much about that and just let people read and watch wherever the fuck they want. I mean, I'm not a government official, so I probably shouldn't be speaking so openly, I guess. I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's just my opinion. I don't think they should be so stuck up on anime and manga banning, considering Japan has been kind of fine with it and they're doing alright. They're doing fucking great, apparently. But as far as I know, these are all great fucking animes. I haven't seen or read the mangas, but if they're great animes, I can't imagine their original adaptation was too bad. I would definitely give them a check out. Except this one. I would watch it up to the last episode and then just stop it there. Or like the last 10 minutes of the episode. Just pause it, turn it off, and create your own perfect world for it, because just no. But Tokyo Ghoul was great. Other banned series include Shoujo Tsubaki, Record of Ragnarok, Attack on Titan. Inuyashiki. See, I've heard of Inuyasha, but I haven't heard of that. It's a Japanese science fiction manga series written and illustrated by Hiroya Oku. It was serialized in Kodansha's seinen manga series Evening from January 2014 to July 2017. What is it? Oh, it's manga, obviously. It follows two people who gain super abilities after a mysterious event. The series was adapted into an 11-episode anime television series and a live-action film. The series is called Inuyashiki Last Hero. It follows Ichiro Inuyashiki, a 58-year-old office worker who gains new abilities after a UFO crashes into him. Despite his cancer diagnosis and family neglect, he becomes a superhero. Huh. Oh, yeah. It was on Netflix for a bit. I didn't watch it. I wanted to. That sounds like an interesting concept. Alright, well, it sounds like we got quite a few things to check out. So I'm just going to end the stream here. And just I guess just watch anime for the rest of the night and try to understand why all of these were banned. But I guess homework for y'all, if you want any, is to watch all the banned anime you can and I guess corrupt yourself with imagery of corruptible influence. Don't get too ahead of yourself, so take it all with pace. Anyways, thank you all for coming in. Thank you all for checking it out. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all just had fun today. I know I did. I know I learned quite a few things worth looking into. Have a wonderful night, y'all. As always, I love you.